Welcome back to the build series, guys. Today, well, we got a little bit of snow, so I figured it'd be a perfect chance to test out this thing's 4x4 system, see if it actually works, spins the front wheels, especially since we put a whole new front end into it last time. Also, we should have a limited slip rear end, but I mean, we got 400,000 kilometers through this rear differential, so we'll see if it's even still working. Speaking of front end, finally got an alignment done on this thing, and we'll see how far off my eyeballing was. Lastly, and most importantly today, we're gonna take a look at the diesel leak that's in between the valley. I think I know exactly what it is, and it should be a pretty easy fix. So first, let's see if this 4x4 system's gonna work. Let's lock up our hubs here. I'll get the other side. All right, neutral. Let's see. Let's see if that's 4 high. So that is a no. All right. So that's 2-wheel drive. Got her. Holy. Wrestled with her for a little bit, but she works. That's what we like to see right there, boys. Woohoo! I was a little worried there for a second. All right, so we know the 4x4 works, and I was pretty confident it would. What I'm not so confident in is whether or not this limited slip diff is gonna do limited slip things. So right now we're on a little bit of ice here. We'll just see if both wheels turn, and we'll go from there. Now, last with this limited slip, I got one wheel more on ice, one wheel more on gravel here, and this should really concretely tell us if this limited slip is truly working. So that's more of what I honestly was expecting. I mean, 400,000 kilometers has gone through this limited slip differential. I believe it's a clutch style, which this thing probably needs a little bit of love. So maybe we'll address that in the future at some point. I don't necessarily plan on making this thing an off-road truck. So the fact that the 4x4 works is a big plus, but the limited slip not working isn't totally a killer for me at this point in time. Now, if you want to learn more about limited slips, how they work, how lockers work on differentials, I got a couple videos that I go into pretty good detail, specifically with my good old Power Wagon up there with a front and rear locking differential. But I'm gonna finish my coffee here, and then we're gonna head to the shop, and we're gonna address a little diesel leak in this thing. Put the coffee in a mug. We got work to do, baby. But as we're driving the shop, I did want to say next week, I'm like 99% sure I've scheduled a session on the dyno. So we are going to see what this 30-year-old, well, just about 30-year-old 7.3 PowerStroke's actually making at the wheels after all those miles and years of service. So I'm excited about that. Also, it's going to give us a perfect baseline of, you know, to work off of when we do end up putting some power into this engine, which is 100% on the to-do list. The more I drive this truck, the more I just sort of fall in love with it. It's just simple, it works, and people seem to love it as well. I get so many people coming up to me at the grocery store, the gas station, saying, I love that truck. I've also left the hubs locked in. I figured spinning that front differential would probably be good for it, get some fluid moving in there. But I'll see you guys at the shop, and we'll take care of this diesel leak. Now, before we attack this diesel leak, let me show you this alignment, see how far we were really off. So I thought we dialed it in pretty good, but turns out the left side was a little bit off, not by a crazy amount, but enough to certainly want to get alignment. And the reason why I want to get this, guys, is because eventually I'm probably going to be putting on a nice set of tires on this truck, and the last thing I want to do is chew it up. So the front end should be taken care of for a little bit. All right, let's get your peepers all up in here, and I'll show you what's going on. I already got the cover off of this thing, and well, the valley of this V8, you can see right down at the bottom there, that is a puddle of diesel. And there's all kinds of diesel underneath this fuel filter housing, this thing right here. And now I've actually already replaced those 3 hoses. There's one underneath it as well. Managed to make a mess of this old engine bay. Here's my fuel filter module. And this is the line that was leaking. Of course, it's on the very bottom, and you can kind of see, yeah, right there. Pinhole leak. I mean, this line, this rubber hose is swollen to all heck. So we'll replace her and put her all back together. And I thought I had the diesel leak figured out, but boy, oh boy, was I wrong. It keeps on coming. And I was in here yesterday trying to figure this out, and it turns out, if I can get you guys to see that, there is a fuel restriction sensor at the very bottom of this fuel filter housing here, and that is what's leaking. Right there. So today's task is to get that sensor out of our fuel filter housing. I don't think I'm gonna have to pull it out, but I could be wrong. It is certainly pretty deep in there, and we are not gonna be replacing it with another sensor. One of those sensors was like $100 online, and I just didn't feel like doing that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this little plug here, and we're just gonna plug it off, because from what I've read, that sensor doesn't necessarily need to be replaced. You can just plug it off, and it really doesn't do much as long as you make sure to change your fuel filter on a regular basis, which we are gonna do. So a 50-cent plug is going back in. Now that we got the intake off, we can get some more visual in here. Now we do have to be careful because we don't want to put anything down these 2 passageways here. It's going right into your intake. That sensor right there, that is what's leaking. I've already unplugged it. That is what we're gonna pull out of this this filter. Looks like we should have some decent space. I don't think this is a 1 1/16 size, but it's spinning. I think it's more like closer to 1 inch if I had to guess. So this right here is the sensor we pull out of that fuel filter module, and well, she was leaking right through it, if that makes sense. The threads themselves weren't leaking, but the actual sensor itself was leaking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this baby right into the trash. After a bunch of fiddling around, I got that plug in there. That was not fun. I almost thought I'd have to pull this fuel filter module. Now everyone online says not to tighten this too much. You don't want to crack the filter housing, so I will take their advice. We'll just snug this baby up. Tighten these lines back up, because I thought originally I might have taken it off, but looks like we got a little bit lucky. Didn't have to, thankfully. You know, keep them all uniform for the next guy, myself. All right, time to fire up and see if we got any leaks. So far, so good. So we'll let that truck cook out there for a little bit. We'll go back and check in like 5-10 minutes, double check our leak is not leaking. Well, that's where I think we're going to leave things this week. I was expecting that fuel leak to actually be a bit of a bigger job. Turns out it was just that little sensor, a little bit of a bugger to get in there, but really not that hard. Next week, like I said, I believe we will be on the dyno, which I'm actually really excited about, as well as maybe putting some new shocks on this truck, which will just look nice and fancy. So look forward to that on our next episode of Building the 7.3 Powerstroke.